Hello friends! We're going to be making homemade everything bagels today. Here's your ingredients, and you're going to start with 2 bowls. In your smaller bowl, put 1 cup of lukewarm water, and then add 1 teaspoon of sugar, Now you're going to add 1 teaspoon of dry yeast. Make sure you have a big enough bowl so that the yeast can kind of spread out on the water, because what it's going to do is ferment. And you're going to let this sit for about 5 minutes while it activates. While the yeast is doing its thing, I'm going to add my flour. I'm using bread flour because I happen to have it, but you can use regular flour. You can mix it with whole wheat flour as well too. And I'm going to add 2.5 cups of that. Then about a teaspoon of salt. I didn't feel like measuring it, but you don't have to add too much salt because we're going to add seasoning to it later on top. Now our yeast should be ready to go. Mine kind of sunk a bit to the bottom, but it's all good. If it looks foamy, then it's doing its thing. And you're going to scrape the bowl, make sure you get all of it into your mixture. I stir mine with a spatula or a wooden spoon for a little while first, until it starts to get this kind of consistency. Then you can get your hands in it. It'll take about 5 minutes to knead the dough fully, as you'll see. I'm going to speed it up a bit, but this is a great time to meditate, to breathe, to think about things you're grateful for, to get little hands who maybe need a task to do as well. You can break off a piece and have them help knead. You want to work it in every different way you can, get all the dry ingredients soaked up inside of it, and then push it around, push down with the palm of your hand. Palm? No. Yeah, your palm, and the heel of your hand. That's the word I'm looking for. Go in all different directions. Use both hands for about 5 minutes. And there we have it. Okay, so your dough should be pretty stretchy. It shouldn't be too sticky. If it's too sticky still, add a little bit of flour to it. But it should be nice and dense. And now we're going to break it into sections. We're going to quarter it, so we're going to make 4 pieces. I like to kind of wiggle it like this in my hands to kind of even out the weight, and then pinch it down the middle. Do the same thing to each half to make 4. You can even make smaller pieces if you want. You could make it into 6 pieces if you want smaller bagels, but this will be a pretty standard bagel size when we're all done. Now we're going to roll these into little balls and poke your finger through the center. You should feel some resistance, which means that it's doing the right thing and the yeast is growing inside of it. And you're going to roll your hand around it to make the center of your bagel. Boom, all 4 done. Now we let them rise for about an hour while covered with a towel in a nice warm place. Now you're going to bring a pot of water to a boil. Oh, and make sure you set your temperature of your oven to 400 degrees. Place your bagel inside the boiling water. If it floats, it's good, and this one looks good. Then have your everything bagel seasoning in a shallow pan or a plate next to it. And then have your tray that you're going to put in the oven ready to go as well, with a little bit of a spray on it as well to keep the bagel from sticking. Take the bagel out of the boiling water after about 30 seconds. And place it in your everything bagel seasoning. You can sprinkle some more on top too. I'm just going to flip this one over and then place it on your baking pan. If you don't have everything bagel seasoning, you can just make these plain bagels as well. I'm going to make a tutorial later that has some more ideas of what you can put in your actual bagel to make different kinds. But this is an easy one to add things on top of your bagel.